and welcome to Bubba Rocks Media. It is the rising bands again, my favorite thing to do. I'm excited today as well to be joined by a Northern Irish band. Yay! So welcome in Mark from Mourning of the Heretic. Hi.
How are you doing yourself?
Oh, right. Honestly, cows in the morning can only happen in Ireland, can't it?
Definitely. Okay.
And it was 6 o'clock in the morning. Tom gets up and he goes, we've cameras all down there, you see, and cows from the field next door straight into the parking area that we have down there. And, we're worried about them because there's a stream and you don't want them falling in. And they're animals, we don't want the animals hurt. Oh my God, dude. And then, they're cheeky wee things because he got them back in and then they came back again about 15 minutes later.
Yeah.
Shit. Oh, but my goodness, I know. Anyway, so let's do this. I'm excited. I've been listening all week and I'm super impressed, loving the tunes, dude.
Oh, thank you very much.
So the way I usually do this is I like to go to the very beginning.
Right.
I would love an origins story. I always find that fascinating, how people get together, how the band actually starts. So we'll start there. If you want to just take us right to the very beginning of the band and how everything started.
Yeah. I formed the band in 2010. I don't know when, but it was 2010. And what it was, I just wanted to make music that I heard in my head. And then I found people who could do it, and he wanted to be a part of this kind of concept I had. And then as we were forming it, we were just fine-tuning things. Our style would change ever slightly, and sometimes it was more doomy, sometimes it was more death rocky, and it would just evolve over time. And plus with us having multiple drummers over the span of our formation, each time a drummer would come in, the style would just change ever slightly. To accommodate there. So sometimes we'd have we'd have a metalcore drummer in, so the style would have some metalcore flavor, and then we have a gent drummer, so stuff get kind of technical. But as it went on, we just kind of found our niche, and then it's been that same mission statement, just create dark, catchy, and kind of horror influenced music. And then obviously Emma, because we started young, he went the way to university and college stuff too, so off and on, and this time around now, when I decided to reform it's just so much has changed, but so much I've learned since the formation that things are going just smoothly now, and it's just interesting to see how the landscape has changed since starting it from 2010 to now. And it's the progressive side of it as well, which is actually really good to hear, because I'm always aware that when I'm doing these interviews with rising bands, there's the new bands, the new ones who are only just starting out. And you get ones that are even my son and people like that in their bands, they're only just starting, so they haven't really found their full sound or their lineup, things like that. And it's good to hear that, even over 15 years or whatever, or did I calculate that? Oh my gosh, I did that fast. But it's good for the newer bands to see, you don't have to have it all right at the very beginning. It's going to take time. No, we didn't have anything figured out for a long time. It was just, we knew what we wanted to do and what style we wanted to do it. And then where we're from, it was difficult to find musicians who were willing to play it or could play it. So that's why for the longest time we were using drum machines and backing tracks, stuff like that, because trying to find anybody who could do it was just so difficult. And instead of just giving up, we're we'll just laptop program everything and batter on. And some people had it, they couldn't comprehend not seeing a drummer or a keyboardist, and we're well, I'm not stopping. Just because I can't find somebody, it doesn't mean I'm going to get I can't find anybody, boo-hoo, I'll stop. No, I'm just persevering. I gotta get this, what's in my head, gotta get it out. Otherwise I'm gonna go crazy.
I absolutely love that, actually, because there are people who would feel that they can't just go and do it, and there are limits here in Northern Ireland in particular. And I do want to talk a bit more about that with you as well, for a lot of like new bands that are starting out from here. But like I want to talk about your sound as well, and then we're going to play some tracks.
Oh, okay.
And so I absolutely, like, for me anyway, I always like to hear like the elements of what I'm, you know, leaning towards when I hear a new band that I haven't really heard before. And for me, there's like little flickers of early Cradle of Filth. Your vocals kind of give me Carcass. And like I was way into all that stuff back in the day as well.
Yeah.
And just want to hear from you a bit more about your sound, your current sound, what you're going for, and just, you know, a bit more in depth, just for people listening, really.
Oh, no.
To them.
So when we started out, I was doing clean vocals, like kind of Christian death type stuff, and it just didn't feel right. And then there's one time I just like, you know what, I'm gonna try harsh vocals and screaming, and that was it. And obviously I'm a big Cradle of Filth fan and Carcass, is like you said, and so I just seen how they did it, and like Deicide's a big influence on me as well. So I just learned how to do it, and since then I was just practicing. And obviously since starting off, techniques become a better thing, and like you can start like that you've tutorials and how to do things, and like, oh, I should be doing this better, or you learn as you go on.
Yeah.
And then the thing was funny with Cradle, because I used to do the big banshee screams.
Oh, nice.
And then I was like, I used to do them a lot, and then I was like, people going, oh, you're trying to copy Cradle. I'm like, no, Hecate and Throne did it, and Ancient did it too.
Yeah.
But I was doing it, and then I was like, yeah, I'll try and ease off just to stop. But I still love Cradle of Filth. It's obvious, when like it's my natural inclination and how I sing. It just happens to sound like Cradle. You know what I mean? So it's like the Hunt's forced, and it's like what comes out of me is just me. Yeah. And then obviously with like technique, you learn how to, like this guy says try it this way, so you kind of shape it in a way you're not injuring yourself. Yeah. But stylistically, it's always been like our influences have always been like My Dying Bride, Paradise Lost, Anathema, Cradle, and a lot of like the 90s, 80s bands, like from like the goth scene, because that's why when we were using the backing tracks and the drum machines, I was like, yes, Sisters of Mercy, diehard Sisters of Mercy fan. So I was like, sweet. Everyone else had an issue. It's like, no, this is like black metal Sisters of Mercy. I love it. And then like bands like Godflesh and Samael, they've all used stuff like that. So it wasn't new to me, but for everyone else, it was kind of like strange, alien to them. But I was like, no, this is perfect. I can dig this. And for our style anyway, it's always been like a mix of just whatever we felt, because our members were always specifically different, kind of into different genres, because we never, like you said, Northern Ireland, you can't, beggars can't be choosers. So it's like, oh, this guy loves metalcore, and this guy loves thrash metal. We'll bring elements of those in. They kind of incorporate like a style. So we'd have like a song that has kind of like a metalcore riff, and then we have like a death metal section. It was just like make it. Oh, I said they kind of moth it up, kind of like change it in the way where it's like it makes sense for us, and it's still natural. And like I used to call, like when we were starting off, it was our initial thing was like we were a dark metal band, but it was partially because like I said, in Northern Ireland, no one wants to constantly hear death metal bands or black metal bands. So we would kind of be like, oh, we're a dark metal band, because we didn't have at that time, we didn't have any recording, so people just didn't know what to expect. So we would get more gigs saying we're a dark metal band than a gothic black metal band or them. So we kind of tricked some people being like that until we show up and we're up corpse paint and blood and all. It's like, this isn't what we're expecting. Like, well, this is what we had to do just to kind of get gigs and get our foot in there. And then eventually we got recordings. People go, oh, this is what you guys actually sound like. And then it's like, yes, it's not for everybody, but it's a good thing to kind of, when people who were joining the band, and we're like, when you start off and you're doing this type of genre, it's like, it's not for everybody. And then if you learn that quick and learn enough, it's easier. Because some people who were like, you start off and like, oh, not everyone likes this. I was like, yeah, well, it's a niche within a niche. So, and I like all that stuff anyway. So it is for, like we said, for newer bands getting anybody try and tackle like a subgenre that's kind of abrasive or can be divisive. It's take it on the chin and kind of like, if you're for the art, then you just do it. And then, I mean, that's it. But like we're saying, stylistically, it's always been like kind of like a blend of gothic metal and gothic rock, and then with death metal and black metal, and just whatever we felt suited. Like we would write stuff and be like, oh, this sounds like this. I'm like, yeah, we'll take that element, put it in here, and then like we'd do kind of fun covers just for us. Like we've covered the Smiths in the past, and we've covered the Misfits, and then we've covered Sister's Mercy as well. So we're doing like try and do things where it's like, how did like our influences come out in weird ways? And like we've done like Iggy Pop and the Stooges covers, stuff like that. Just fun little things where for us it's just us naturally being ourselves. And I'm a big fan of gothic horror, so our like the lyrics are all like that. They're all gothic nonsense type of thing.
No, but that's I have always liked when people aren't afraid in a band to take wee elements of things and just put them together, because that's how you create then your own unique sound.
Yeah.
Which I feel you guys have achieved. And I want to delve more as well into the limits of Northern Ireland, as well as the limits of the genre too for the newer bands. So we will definitely be discussing that. But we're going to actually play a track now.
Oh, okay.
And that's called Possessed. Wow, love that song. Actually, I think it's probably going to go down as my favorite one.
Oh, thank you.
I absolutely love it, and of course, it stars my friend Demi. Have to shout out Demi. She did an amazing job.
She really did, yeah.
What an actress. The song itself, as well as the video, it's incredible.
It really is, yeah.
I want to talk a bit more about that as well with you. Like me and Tommy were watching away at it. We're going, this is brilliant. The sound too of the band, it's so tight, it's so well produced. So we just want to, delve more into that with you. But let's talk about specifically about that song, Possessed. If you can go further into it, it's inspiration, things like that. Any like creative difficulties or challenges within it when you were writing it? Just kind of delve into that part of it too, because I love the horror genre in general. It's my vibe. I love it. So if we can delve a wee bit into that, and then we'll talk further about the video.
Oh yeah, so Possessed was because I tend to write the lyrics before the music, so I could like sit down and just write all of it. If I was writing comics, I was just I can write a line here, write a phrase. And Possessed, I was kind of like, I had the line in my head, "I'm possessed by the demon in you." I was like, that's something. And then I was like, okay, cool, let's work on that. And then I heard the music. Oh, I can ramp it up. Then I can escalate things and kind of crescendo into different elements in the song. And for me, it was because we haven't done a song like that in a while. It was fun to go, right, I can make this kind of aggressive. And then we have that part, like the spoken word parts, which I love doing. It's like, I can go kind of sensitive or kind of bring it down a slight thing. But lyrically, it was always just been about like the femme fatale. I've always loved that elements and stuff like that. Where I've been like, it is that kind of master and servant type vibe. And it's like, some people can interpret it like, oh, it's the one way, and something to interpret it, but I like it, the open interpretation. For me, it was just, I wanted, because it is that I'm a big hymn fan as well, and then like having that love and death thing. So it is that I'm a big hymn fan, yeah. So it's having that thing of like love and death. And it's like, it's always like all my lyrics are all kind of influenced by that kind of style, and they like said the goth genre and both poems and music and literature. So Possessed is kind of like, let's make an aggressive version of that, and then have it still kind of poetic and still kind of melancholic and kind of lovelorn. But for me, it was just like, when I write, it's just naturally comes out that kind of melancholic, kind of lovelorn and British sadness and stuff like that. But the song came out. It was really, once I started writing it, it just came out, and that's the way it was. And then with music, it was, that was our last single release, because the two ones prior had both different vibes. So it's like, okay, well, this one has a bit more energy, but more not as heavy, but still somewhat heavy. But it was just a fun. Once we kind of got that in the pocket, it was like everything was just kind of smooth sailing, and then it was just fun. And I just like writing in general. So like I would have like notes app on my phone being like, oh, I'll write that down there. They could be anywhere. I'm like, oh, it's a cool line. Or note to yourself, read this book, kind of, or read like reference this. So it's for Possess was like the last one we did, not for the album, but was the last single we released.
Right.
And it was the one we did ourselves entirely. So the members at the time, they mixed it and mastered together, whereas the prior two singles were mixed and mastered by producers outside. So for us to kind of get our hands on and think, okay, let's do it ourselves and see how we can do it. It came out really well. And it was the kind of like give us kind of like confidence. Oh, we could do this. We maybe do it ourselves. We were not opposed to letting someone else help us, but it's a thing. It's like, oh, we can get this as good as we can, and then if we need it, we'll go send it to someone else, like a producer, and he can clean it up. Like we can do only so much with what we have here, limited. Okay, you do what you have to do to make this sound as best as it can, and still like not too polished, but kind of takes away the kind of the vibe. It's kind of like a nice balance, but it's the production of it that was just like quite smooth, and it wasn't as dramatic as like as older recording sessions would have been, or if we had more time because we were doing it ourselves. We had just like, oh, we could take our time with this and not rush it. But it was I think that was an easy one out of the whole. I think it was like one or two takes vocally, and that was it done because it was just energy, and that was it. And then, that was the lyrics and stuff like that.
I love that. Like, so you begin with lyrics rather than the music, or you don't get a riff or anything like that. It's just a lyric comes first, and then you move from there. Is that how you prefer to do it?
It just depends. It's sometimes because I'm always on in my head, so almost like I'll be sitting somewhere, like, oh, write that down. Or one of the guys will go, I have an idea for a riff, and they'll send me like either 30-second clip from a recording. So is that something like, give me 10 minutes, and I'll be like, listen to it, like, okay, that's the chorus now, and then I'll write to that, and then so I can have like a chorus written for a section of a song that might not even happen or might not even turn into anything. So I always have stuff like, okay, once I hear the song, okay, if it's once I get the vibe, or it's like, okay, you got a slight tinge of like doom vibes, I can cater the lyrics to that. Or I can go through my phone. Like I've got stuff that'd be perfect for this. And it's just, it's kind of, this depends. Sometimes if I have a hard time writing stuff, and then one moment there, like, it just clicks. I'm like, oh, that fits perfectly now. And it's just, it is like a chicken and egg. Sometimes it's just, sometimes give you a riff, sometimes you have it written down already, and then sometimes they mash together well, and sometimes you're like, no, you need to write new lyrics or change some stuff to fit. I mean, but that is the fun collaborative thing about the music. If I was writing lyrics and like, I'm not changing any of these, this is how it's going to go, and then I realized then like my problem is I can write and then go, oh shit, I have to sing this, and then I may check, okay, how am I going to try and sing all these words, or how am I scream this whole line without dying? So it is that thing of being like, okay, I'll change that, okay, shorten that down, or use this word, or try and match the syllables of these previous words. Just it is just, okay, how am I meant to do this live, or how you can do things from recording in the studio, but where it's live, that's where it shines. And it's like, and I like to move about, and especially like it's so when I'm trying to sing in the studio, I'm trying to like not move too much, but I still do the hands and do the whole like, because it just helps to drive that performance out instead of standing still like static. So it is that thing of like the lyrics, especially with like the type of things I'm writing, they are dramatic, so it tends to be like you want to have a dramatic performance in the studio as well. And then because it's all like
emotions as well, you have to feel it. So the other thing I want to ask you about was about the video for Possessed.
Yes.
Incredible. Really well done. Really well put together. Like, was that something that you did collaboratively as a band? Did you bring somebody else in to help with it?
Oh yeah.
You know,
So
what can you advise with that? And also, actually, just on top of that, just for the new bands, I'm always going back to them. Advice for them, because they'll watch that and go, "Damn, this is awesome." You know, we're nowhere near that level yet. So, you know, advice even for them for starting out, we tips on saving here and there. You know,
oh no, that's
still
perfect.
a good
Perfect.
quality. Yeah.
So for Possessed, when I wrote the song, like the lyrics and stuff, I was like, right, I have an idea in my head where how I envisioned it. And once I find the location, because it's in an old cellar, and it's hard to tell in the video because it's so dark and black, but it's got all these like stone arches and stuff, and it's got like it's decrepit. It's really cool. So when I was putting together like the treatment for the video, it's okay. I want this to happen. This happened. I want this style because I'm a big horror fan. I want to go try and do it like German expressionism, kind of keep it like just kind of weird. But then it's like the space and the confines. Okay, we'll do it this, make it kind of claustrophobic, and then make it like Nosferatu, make it like Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, and then trying to fit everyone in was good, and then just covered this in candles and the whole decorate thing. That's just all stuff we had lying around in the house. But okay, we got this and we got that, and then a friend of mine owns a record shop, and he has like an old gramophone, so we got that down, and we had it that, and we the record at the start is just one I got in a charity shop and put the band sticker on it, and I was just trying to do as much DIY as we can for much production value we can, because keep it cheap as well. So the guy who directed it, along with me, I had worked with him previously on a lyric video. And me and him have the similar taste. We both like Vincent Price. We both like horror, like David Lynch. It was like, you're the guy to go to. So we messaged, we were back and forth, email and chatting. So this is what I want. I want it to look like VHS. So I want it to look analog, and then make it so it's like almost found footage, and make it kind of like just. And it was like, it's funny because he came down on the day of the shoot with like 4K cameras, like really fancy cameras and lenses. And like, it's like, they look too good. Can you make it look worse? Kind of thing. But then we came to like everyone came to conclusions like, no, we'll have both. We'll have mix of the staticky video and the really high production stuff. And I was like, it was me, black and white. I don't want color, black and white. And it's fun because Demi's got bright pink hair.
I know.
It's just like it's like no, black and white. And it's like high contrast black and white, make it like spooky and have it all textured and stuff. And the video shoot was fun. We just did it all, and then it's funny because there's no heating at all in that cellar. So anytime you see breath, it is just our natural breath coming out. Nice. And with Demi doing the blood thing, it was like we got one take of this. We only can do it once. Yeah, so it was just the scene's actually longer because the whole like a bit more. But then like with YouTube, it's like we can't have too much because it's So it's like. It was like, okay, one take, then bags around up this, and then okay, go, and then everything turned out. It was like turned out really well. That was good, and then, but like I said, like we were saying about all their bands, the thing about what we do music is, it really comes down to what the vision is and what you want to accomplish from the video. Because for me, I was like, okay, the music is just the soundtrack to this video, and that's how I was treating it. So it's like, so. The idea I had, like, she puts, like, what Demi put on the record, that's the soundtrack. And the way I wanted to have it, just to get kind of off topic, is like, it was kind of like Hellraiser, the metal configuration opening that, or there was, I know Deathgasm has it with the record, and I know there's another band, 80s horror movie that has, I think it's Black Roses, the same thing where it's just like, play a record backwards, play it forward, and summon stuff. So it's like, that was the kind of vibe, kind of cheesy, kind of like, how about you play this record, then we come in, and then that possesses the listener. But that was the intent. But for younger bands and newer bands, it's like, what do you want from me represent you as a band, and what you want the song to tell? If the song has a story, what way do you want to show it off? So if it's just like a band performance, then it's just, you don't really have to worry about much. You can just set up cameras and just, depending on like I said, it's all about the vibe and aesthetic of the band, that what they want to portray. If they're like a thrash band, you could film at a bar, you could film anywhere. or punk band. It's just what you do and get extras and your friends, and they film it to make it kind of, you can do a lot, especially with phones and cameras being what they are now compared to what they were back in the day. You can get some really good quality, and like 28 years later, it's filmed on iPhones. So it's like,
I heard that. That's fascinating.
Yeah. So it's like you can do so much with what you have lying around, and then it's like, if you can't find somebody to edit it, you can do it yourself. There's like free software you can do it. So there's ways you can do it cheap, or you can find someone who's willing to, like, if you like save up money. And that's the thing with any advice I have for any band now, is just have like any gig money, don't spend it in alcohol, or just have it like a wee PayPal account where you just put everything in there, and then like, it builds up quick, and then you go, okay, we can either use this money for a video, or we can use it for production or merch. And then like, I always think you don't have, like, for music videos, you don't always have to next to go for like an actual band playing or actors and actresses. It could be a lyric video, and lyric videos are easy done. So, and they do the same one. Once you upload to YouTube or wherever you upload it to, people are still watching it the same way, regardless of if it's an actual full production or live video. It's still a video file people are watching, and then you don't have to worry too much about like, oh, this doesn't look good, this doesn't look good. It doesn't matter as long as the intent behind it is genuine, and it's like people can tell it. Oh, you put effort and heart into this, then that's what matters. But like, you can get away with so much for terms of music videos now. You could just be like, oh, because one of the band's first music videos was a live video that we did in Derry. It was like, oh, we got a friend of ours to come down. I think we paid him in Jägermeister, or I can't remember what it was.
Love that.
But he came down, and as we were playing, he just filmed us playing, and then put the track on top of it, and that was it. So there's ways you can do it without having to spend a fortune. And then there's always ways, and especially now with the access people have to different softwares and cameras and stuff too, you can get away with a lot, and then just like put it out there, and then hopefully it takes off. And like I said, once you get the money set aside, you put that in the ad campaigns and like you get all these little things that you don't think of until you go, oh, I have to do this now. So that's it.
That's great advice, actually. And the kiddie idea is a great thing to do as well. So kids, if you're listening, do it. I wanted to delve further now as well. Always again, with these kids in my mind, with your type of genre, we did touch on it a wee bit earlier, so I want to kind of delve a bit more into it. And it's, choosing to go with this type of like subgenre almost, which is more difficult. It's not as commercial. Getting shows, getting noticed, things like that, it is definitely harder. So have you advice then again for these kids, if say there's another one, like they hear you guys and they're like, oh my gosh, want to sound like them, want to do that vibe, want to go down that road. How can you give advice based off of that then as well, for them to get started, basically?
I think it's because our subgenre it is open as well to different things. You can have like atmospheric black metal, you can have depressive suicidal black metal, you can have all these different aspects. So it just depends on what when you dive into this genre, where do you want to go as a musician? So if like a band was like, oh, we want to be raw black metal, then you can just record everything on your phone. There's ways of doing it, and then it's mainly finding musicians. That was the most difficult thing for us, especially earlier on, was trying to find people who could play that at that level of intensity and for that long. And then so that's why we brought in like doom elements, so you can slow things down, and kind of gothier stuff, so we can get more of a groove and kind of just more of a vibe. But it mainly thing for us in our experience, it was just trying to find a drummer, because the genre is a very difficult one to play for. Like, so if you're like, oh, I want to start a black metal band, so well, you can either do black and roll, where it's not going to be as hectic on the drums, or well, it can be, but it just depends on your intent. But any kind of advice I have for any new bands trying to come up with would be like, don't worry about not having like certain members. You can always do like for example, we were doing it with backing tracks and programmed drums.
Yeah, that's great advice.
Yeah, and then with a lot of like things in the black metal genre, you have a lot of one man projects, bands like Leviathan and Zaxor. It's like, and there's so many like these the great artists. They're like this one guy, and they may never play live unless they find like session musicians or. But it's the fact that it's like as long as you're still being creative and not worrying about, oh, we're never going to be super successful. But if you never know, because the way things go now, you could be one thing could take off and blow up, go trending, could be on like these things happen. So with bands coming up, it's like we're going to do this one genre. It's like, well, okay, as long as the people who are making it are genuine about making it and aren't doing it to be like edgy or to go, we'll do this because it's easy and we don't have to worry about the quality or to doing it. I that's why I say always like the intent. It's like if you're like, because black metal, you can bluff your way through it, being like, oh, the production's meant they sound bad because that's what was done back then. I was like, yeah, but that was back then because that's all they had access to. You know, it's definitely like, do you make that style of music now? You have to go out of your way to make it sound bad. So it's just like a weird. It's like you said, like our music video, it's like we had to go out to make it look a certain way. But with like newer bands trying to get into this genre, it's just like you don't get into it initially to be successful. I don't think it's, if you wanted to be a successful band, you'd be doing Kings of Leon, you'd be doing like more modern metal where it's just more like boy band vocals with an A string. It's that kind of that vibe. But if you're doing like extreme music in general, you kind of have to be self-aware. Like, right, you're never going to play stadiums. You're never going. You'll play festivals and you play all like shows like that. That's fine, but you're not going to be playing Wembley doing extreme metal. But with regards to gigs too, it's like it just depends really. If you have a band ready that's gig ready and you have material, like you could play half an hour set, 45-minute set, and you have that material and you're ready to play. It's as simple if you see a gig poster or a gig post being like, oh, we're looking for opening acts, or you just message in, but here, can we open for you, or in the future, can you keep us in mind for gigs? And that's all you can. That's it. There's no secret. It's just you put yourself out there and hope that someone takes a chance on you. And that's what we did. Where when we were starting off, it was like, right, we know what we were about, so we kind of catered ourselves to like, right, we're suitable. We'd be very good for this gig. We'll just message the promoter or message the bands like, here, if you have half an hour, can we open for you? Or like other things like, oh, we can provide backline, or we can bring an amp, or we can bring a drum kit. So that helps as well. So it's like helping share the load of the gig as well. So that is just something to keep in mind. There's obviously like people like, oh, I know I got the gig because I know this guy, but that's everywhere. I got this job because I know someone. That's you can't escape that. But essentially, it's just like if your band is ready and you want a gig, you just keep an eye at things. Or if you want to make one yourself, put a gig on yourself, it simply is finding a venue that will let you do it. And then just being like, okay, then you find a sound guy, make sure he's paid, make sure all the band's there on time. And it just becomes like, it is fun then if you start getting the whole production side of it then. And I love making the posters for gigs and going out and putting them up. I love doing that. I like that whole, I've been doing that for years. Doing the posters, pasting them up, getting told off for putting posters up in places. It's like plenty of times I've been told off for putting them up and then having to see people taking them down. I was like, that costs money, but okay. But it is that, it's just like, it is that thing. It's simple as that. Just put yourself out there. It's same with anything. You don't know until you try. So it's like a band's like, I want a gig. What do I do? Find a band who you want to play. So can we play gig with you? And that's it. And it's that simple as it. And Northern Ireland is big and also small because it's just, once you have like a genre, if you're in like a metal as a whole, you kind of angle that. So some people will be like, well, we're not going to put you on because you're this type of metal. So most of the time it's like, well, you're a band, there's another band, they need an opener. And if it's not too much of a clash, then it's like, it's fine. Because we've played with symphonic metal bands, we've played with punk bands. Yeah. And the only thing, like, we're kind of like, well, our thing was we're playing, it's like, we're going to be heavy no matter what. No matter, we're like, or we're going to be, depending on we're playing with certain black metal bands, we're going to be the softest. It's just fun comparison, and it's like all you can do is like, right, we're here now, do your best, and hopefully people like us. And then when you're done, it's just talk to people, just don't pester people, but be like, oh, thanks for coming out. You just network. That's a big thing with bands. It's you really just have to network, and if you have something to offer, then let them know. It's like, oh, if you ever need help doing this, I'm your guy. Or if you like, I can do this for you. It is like a give and take. And
Absolutely, yeah.
So it is like, it is the thing of it is community. So once you have something to offer besides you playing, that helps a lot more too.
That's great advice, actually. You're absolutely giving us so much value here. But what we're going to do now is we're going to play another track, and we'll have a wee chat about it once it's been on. So we're going to now play My Last Sunrise. It again. So once again, we just want to discuss it a bit more, just for folks listening. I want to be able to delve into again the story behind the songs. I always love this, and I always like to get it straight from the horse's mouth as well. I know songs are open to interpretation. I love that about music. It is basically whichever way you want to take it most of the time. But just from your perspective, any stories behind this one, its process, its inspiration, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, this is like I always say, this is the vampire song. It's because the title is taken from Interview with the Vampire, and it was when that was a song where I had lyrics before, but it wasn't. It was a different song, a different vibe. It was a different concept altogether. But once we had the song together, and then once I felt how it was flowing, and once we were like, oh, we'll add this part in and do this, we can have strings here. The song inspired like, oh, if I changed the lyrics ever so slightly or change the topic, that it flew out of me then. But I guess I love like Faust, the Faustian deals and stuff like that. And then with My Last Sunrise, it was like, oh, I can do that, and then have this kind of melancholic, like most vampires are melancholic.
Yeah.
It is like I've twisted it with addiction as well, where it's like, because the lines in it where it's like the hunger, like with hunger, and it's like the craving of it, and then at the same time, for me, I've never been, even been a black metal, but never been super anti-religious. I don't find it's too easy of a topic. But for us, for like our form of heresy and the name heretic, it's more like the questioning and the being like the feeling of being forsaken. It's that kind of like, it is more of a woe is me type and questioning, like, so like there's lines out where it's like I was hung from a rosary noose and stuff like that, where and it's like it's just like when I was writing it, been like, you feel guilty, but also at the same time you can't help it. It's a very thing where it is, when I was saying it's like, it is a kind of like a song about addiction, where it's like you can't help it, but you have sympathy and you have regret for like the cravings and stuff like that. And that's the thing where like with the whole thing with vampires and blood, it is an addiction. It's like, so when I was writing it, it's like this person, it's like I just can't help it, and it's like you want to stop but you can't, and then and there's that kind of like backstory where it's like before, like he mentions in the song where it's before like Urafal, now Faust is I'm sacrificed, where it's like before I was basically like a chicken as a weakling, and then I made a deal like Faustus, and it's like now I'm a better being, I'm like a vampire, but at the same time, because I made that deal, I'm damned and cursed. And it's like, obviously there's lines in it where I don't want to save just in case demonetized or anything like that, but it's like the stuff in it, and then it is that kind of and I love it too, because I love vampire stuff, and then especially when you perform it live, you can really get into that kind of like Nosferatu creep hands. You get the whole performance out then.
Yeah.
And it was one of my favorite songs to play live. It's one of my favorites to play live. And then especially it's got the ending where let's say I wanted to, can we just put the Buffy intro as the ending? But then it's like, oh, we can try that. And then we were doing it, and it's like, okay, we'll change it a bit so it's not too direct. But then we have the bells, like the church bells, which is like, oh, that's a Buffy reference. So we're doing like these things where like little homages, these things. And I was like, oh, can I make it punk at the end? The best of what we could do. And that's why I was like, yep, that's it. Church bells and choirs and stuff. That's everything I wanted. And it's a vampire song. And like, if I have blood on stage, that's the time to use it on stage, kind of thing.
Absolutely. So, I love the depth there as well. And the other thing that I want to always know is, what do you hope that your fans get from your music? What do you hope it does for them?
I'm a big component for escapism. I don't
love that.
So when I'm writing, everything I write is essentially a short story. I love anthologies. I like Tales from the Crypt, Creep Show, and stuff like that. So each song is its own little short horror story, or short little tragedy. So with My Last Sunrise, it's that thing where like you get it off from a storytelling point of view. I think, okay, it's cool. And then, but my main thing is like, put our music on is the escape, because the one thing, the world's bad enough. At least if you go in the Ardell world, it's horrible and dark and stuff, but it's an escape, because I'm a big, like, I love fantasy, and I have no interest in writing like modern stuff. I don't think I'll ever write lyrics that involve a phone or a TV. I'll be swords and sorcery and castles and
love it.
But I'm not preaching to anybody. I just like, these are little gothic horror stories that I write, and if you like them, I appreciate it, and I'm thankful for it. But it's mainly just, you put escape. You put your headphones in, you put them on speakers, and it's just, you forget about everything else. You put a horror movie on, you put our music on. That is what I'm after.
For me, it's like finding light within the dark, finding that light within it. Like, that's what I always love about anything. I'm always into the dark side of stuff as well. And for me, it just gives me that, like you just said, escapism, and that's the perfect way of putting it. So that's really cool. And I actually want to move on a wee bit now here into the vocal side of things for you. Have you tips and tricks for folks starting into this, as well as your own rituals for in the recording studio to maintain the vocal, but also, contrasting that with performing live? Is there different things that you have to do to maintain the strength of the vocal?
Yeah. So when I started doing the vocals, it was, for me, I didn't have access to internet. I didn't know how to do it. So what I did, I remember like it was yesterday in the practice room, I'm gonna try this, and I just did it. And it wasn't perfect by any means, but it was, oh, that's new. I'd never felt this before. And then you work, and I was like, as I went on, developed the things with mouth shape, and I was watching other bands, other singers, being like, hey, let's study them, being like, okay, what's he doing there? Okay, standing still for that, or his mouth shape's different, or he's taking a bigger deep breath. It's more like studying. And as I went on, I was like, oh, I figured out, I'm all false chord. I don't do fry scream and stuff like that. I think the fry scream I did was the big banshee Danny full screams. And at the time, I didn't know what they were called or what that technique was. Like, I just watched how he did it, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna try that. And obviously, after 3 attempts, like, oh, I can do it. Yeah. And then, we're as I developed more, and then the thing what I noticed too, as you get older, your voice will either naturally get deeper or degrade. And I don't smoke either. And then, like, I'm more conscious about that now, just for general health reasons as well. Where like, I used to drink bottles of wine on stage because of the whole gothic and but I was like, that would drive me out quicker, which meant I had to drink. I was a psycho, so it was like, so I could do that. I had like water, wine, whatever. This is about in the early days, and I was trying to balance it out. And then it's just stuff like that where, like, I've become more aware of what not to eat before shows, like not too heavy or non spicy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, okay, you kind of nail it down. And then as I developed the vocals, I was like, oh, I can do this. I didn't know I could try this, and I knew what points were like. Don't try too hard for this, because you my fear, like any vocalist fear, is blowing your voice out, and then you can't do it, or you can develop a little popular song. It's like something's in your throat where it's like, I can't do it. I know, like happened to Shadows from Avenged Sevenfold. He like his voice went, and but then that worked out better for him because he ended up doing that style for him.
Yeah.
So I think with the extreme metal vocals, like you look at like Chris Barnes from Cannibal Corpse and 6 Feet Under, his voice was a certain standard, was the gold standard back in the day. But then as it now, it's kind of almost memey. He's still good, but there's some parts you go, he's maybe Leon would like stop smoking weed, because that's clearly affecting your voice. But like it's just things to be like, there's techniques where you warm up. And it is as simple, like you do the traditional lip trills and like normal singers do, and then depending on your vocal style, I know people who do fried vocals warm up differently than people who do the false chord stuff like me. So there's ways of like doing it at the same time. Then it's not what I've learned as well is not the over warm up. So like because for a while I was like, oh, I have to do 10 minutes of warm up, 5 minutes of warm up, and then realizing then I'm blowing out all my good screams in the warm up. So I'm like, I got it right. So it's really about like going like, before I get on stage, it'd be like a grunt, a growl, a scream, and then I'll be a kind of like a normal vocal, just so I don't use up all my good voice in the warm up. It's like over stretching at a gym. Kind of like you want to keep it like enough. Okay, I feel good now. I can get on stage without being like, oh, I blew my voice out, crying too hard to warm up. And then when in the studio with like, because you can do multiple takes in studios, it's like, oh, I can do this. For me, I like trying to do it like not like line by line or a phrase per se, just so I can get it as much what's the word, pronunciation, and get as much grit and it sounds like there's energy behind it. Because one thing, like in previous recordings we've done, where it's like I sound tired, but you see videos of me recording it and I'm actually giving it the whole shebang. It's like, why it doesn't come across. So it's a thing of trying to, that's all like engineering stuff as well, but it's a thing of like in the studio you can take your time and really develop it, and then as you're doing it, you go, I could try this, I could try scream it this way or growl it this way, and work. Like I said previously about lyrics, like I can't scream that full line with that word in particular in it, so I got to change that word or take it out together, and it's just find the flow. It is that kind of like, it's like a rap flow. You kind of get like, once you get in that kind of thing, you're like, okay, I can do that. Okay, I can't change that word, I shorten it down, and then if you can do it live, you can't do it in the studio. It's kind of, should be all the way around. You should be able to do it both. And then with doing it live, I think live for me has always been better, because it is, you get the adrenaline and you got the nerves as well. So I think that like we're going on tour recently, and then just in any gig, it's like you have more, it's like you've more to prove live. The studio, you can fake things and you can do multiple takes, and but live, it's like live is just, you're bearing yourself out there. It's like, I am here in the flesh. I have to prove to everyone here that what we're doing is worth their time and money. So when I like get on stage, it's like as soon as that track hits, I'm just all go. And obviously in between songs, rehydrate and just keep typing. Try not, it's being careful not to push yourself too much where you're like, right, I'm completely exhausted after this, I can't speak. Or it's like, but vocal, that's a big ties that. So doing vocal rest too after practicing, after studio is good. So it's like 10, 15 minutes of just shutting up, don't speak, just relax. And then it is just a cool down basically for your voice. That's important too, because as soon as you get off stage and your voice is tired and you can't speak, like it's the last thing you want to do is have to shout to people in a loud venue, because then you already be like extra exhausted then, where it's like, so it is that kind of take a moment to yourself and just relax, take some drinks, not alcohol, just simple juice or water, just to kind of ease that like, because it is a big exercise, a big workout you're doing on stage.
Absolutely.
And then like, I know that's this thing. It's just like, it is just taking care of yourself, because that's one thing I've always noticed too, where it's like I don't play like an instruments on stage, but you can play a guitarist will hit the same string or the same tone, you'll get the same effect more or less all the time. But if I keep doing the same line over and over again, it's going to degrade, or it's just going to wobble. It's going to sound as strong. So it's a thing of like picking and choosing when you're performing. So where do I go full out? They go full out here, or it is picking and choosing when you do what you do. And then there's also the same time where most vocalists be different, but they can go start to finish full tilt. And then I'm like, wow, that's impressive. For me, I can depend on the songs, because our songs are kind of dimmy and kind of like, we don't have as intense songs yet anyway. So it's like I can get away with not going crazy on vocals anyway. I can be like, because whatever services the song and the performance. So if like a song of My Last Sunrise, you can get kind of all creepy and harsh and kind of like performative, because it has that room in the song to like perform more theatrically. Whereas a song when like all our songs just like, no, I can't go goblin mode basically, and the song I gotta lock in to the song because it's like straight. Whereas some songs you, like I said, it's like, oh, I can be a bit more performative, kind of be like all goblin and the typical black metal stuff, or a bit more like Morrissey and flying like flailing about and stuff like that. So it's just like service in the song, I think vocally as well. It's just, you don't need to do so much for a slow song. You know, it is that kind of it is that it's just that's it.
Well, actually, speaking about the songs, we're going to play another track now. Next song up is She Is Death. I love the intro to that song, by the way. Beautiful. And what I love to know as well is, because I mentioned earlier, I remember saying this about the production value within the songs musically. These are so tight, so well put together. And then speaking of performing there as well, do you find, or have you ever been surprised when on tour playing live, the response of the audience to particular songs? Have they surprised you in any kind of way, or were you just like, yeah, that's what I expected? I
don't expect anything. I just like, if I get anything, I'm like, thank you. Like that's what I'm after. And like, not what, like, for what audience to take a song, like we would play our full set. You never know what that particular audience will like. You know, people who have seen us before go, oh, I really like Possessed, and I really like this song. You're playing that, so I know those songs. The people who haven't seen us before, it is a thing of, you don't know what will click with certain people. Like, we played songs where like, oh, we didn't expect that song to do so well for this crowd, but then next show we do, people will take another song. It just depends on
the crowd themselves.
The crowd themselves, and you kind of feed off, like I always say, you feed off the crowd as well. So if you're like, if we were performing and the crowd's getting into it for a certain song, it's like, oh, we know maybe write more songs akin to this, or we'll cut this song from the set because it's doing nothing for anybody. It's like, it is I always say, we're like, when I'm writing and then when the guys are writing, we're all writing together. I always point of view, it's like, if you're doing like a thing where you have your own creative taste and your own art, but at the same time, I'm like, you have to think of someone standing in the audience watching this, where are they going to be bored at this intro? Like, can we shorten this intro down, because it's like, it could have an album version, but a live version, you can maybe shorten it down, just because they like, you don't want people yawning, or you don't want people looking at their phones for things. So it is a thing where we're working on stuff being like, okay, the audience has to like us. They have to understand what we're doing and what we're trying essentially sell. I mean, because it's we're selling the band to them, and if they don't like it, I'm like, right, either maybe it's the wrong time, maybe the wrong kind of audience, but it's a thing of I don't expect people to like us. Honestly, I always think that it's kind of, I would say, not egotistical, but like I go on being like, oh, they're gonna like us. I'm like, no, we have to make them like us. I'm like that. I don't. I'm not. I wouldn't go on being like, oh, we're going to be great. It's like we'll perform as best as we can, and if they like us, that's that's the best thing about it. But essentially, it's like it is just whatever we put out, and if people like it, that's just a bonus. We can have all our artistic integrity, and then we can do what we want. But if no one likes it, then it's like, okay, we can still keep it for ourselves. At the same time, it is like a this awkward situation. As any artist, like you put up, you can spend hours on a painting, post it on Facebook or Instagram, and get 5-10 likes. It's like, it is disheartening, but you kind of go, right, maybe it's just posted at the wrong time. The algorithms against me this time. I'm shadow banned. It's these things where it's a set. It works in any kind of creative process or any kind of creative field. So even if us playing, it is essentially like, oh, we've worked hard on this song. Hopefully that the audience will know that we put effort into this and we're giving it our all. And if they don't like it, it's fine. You can't. It's not fair. It's like, okay. And then if they do like it, I'm like, sweet. And then that's it.
No, that's great. And like the self-awareness there too, which is really cool to see. And I think that's valuable too. And like in this world of modern music industry, social media, streaming, all that type of thing, we're going to stand back again to advice for the brand new bands who are all watching and listening. And just like it can, I feel like it's overwhelming to them when they're first starting out, because there is so much now that bands have to be able to do. And then it's just, if you can give from your perspective over the last 15 years to where you are now, a realistic bit of advice that you can give them, but also, you know, to not give up hope, basically. Have you ever had somebody give you some really good advice, even within the industry, where you're like, oh, you know what, I need to share this on to somebody else?
I think like I can only be real. Like I just be myself, and then but it's there, and then I can be very cynical and self-deprecating and stuff, but it's the typo fan. The self-deprecation just comes out from them. But any advice, but it's the thing, it's for like, because we started off in 2010, we didn't know anything about anything, and then people like you should get on Spotify. How do you get on Spotify? Oh, you need this person, get an aggregator or whatever it was called. They'll put you on this. I'm like, I would never did. And then now, as things have progressed, you just go DistroKid. There's always different services that will put you on Spotify. So it's easier to get on platforms, but at the same time, you're up against everyone else. You mean it's a thing. There's a thing of it sounds cynical. It's just kind of bleak that it just comes down to money. It's like you can have the best song out there and put it up, but if you don't do like Spotify campaigns, you're not in playlists, you're not constantly pushing it and sharing it, and it only get so far from like word of mouth and sharing. So, but again, that comes down to your genre too. If you're doing like a pop punk band or like a modern metal band that has more of appeal, it may be different. I'm only speaking from an extreme metal thing. So, and you can only like even then within the realms of that, you can go, right, how am I going to get noticed? Well, I can do something outlandish. We'll make some mad video or we'll make some mad posts, and we'll do some mad vocal stuff, or we'll just do something crazy. Just it almost becomes like a gimmick to try and get people's attention. But the advice for any like bands like that, it is just money, and it is the thing where it's like having the pay for sponsored posts, sponsored ads, and it's you make a good song and you play it well, and then you perform live as well, which I think is important, because I've seen bands in the past been like big band on YouTube but never played live. So when they did play live, no one really was there to see them, because they're big on YouTube and big on TikTok, but TikTok fans and YouTube viewers don't equate to your actual music scene itself.
Yeah.
So like I know like in the experience of talking to people, it's like I was expecting more of a crowd for our band. I'm like, well, you're big on this, but you don't play the scene or the circuit regular enough to build up a local scene. Or people know you're big online, but you're not big locally or big on like just get general in the scene. So that's another thing too, where in younger bands too, it, like I said, it comes down to money. It's like you can this ways of you can trick and things. You can pay, like it's a whole thing. You can buy views, you can buy listeners, you can buy whatever. But that doesn't all that doesn't mean nothing if you can't do it live. So I think if you get it live first and then right, or the, like you said earlier with like the band fund, where it's like, oh, you okay, we have enough money here. Do you want to either send our album or EP or song to a PR company who's going to push it on, send it to the right people, or we spend it on a Spotify campaign, or we'll put it in a YouTube video where you can get Google ads and the whole thing where that it just comes down to like how much money you're willing to spend. And that's the thing about what puts off a lot of bands and a lot of people from starting bands being like, I can't afford this. I'm like, that's the music industry in general. It's been probably the way since the 50s and 40s, you know what I mean? So it is a thing of like you can for me, like I said, it's like we'll try and focus on making and mastering and mixing albums ourselves just to save money, but also be aware of like, right, that's the best we can do. It can be better. Do we either send it to someone else so you can put their touch and fix it, or be satisfied that that's the best we can do and save the money and put the money to a music video or merch or like travel expenses return, stuff like that. It's a very thing where it's like you have to like pick your battles of what you want to do. But even then, once you pick a battle, there's a further battle of that then being like, right, we'll do a music video. Okay, now you got to think of views, you got to count, you got to make sure doing this and the thing where I've noticed just over the years, like the algorithm is your enemy. You're never going to like. There's just one day you're doing great, and an algorithm change. It doesn't favor posts anymore. It favors reels now. So you, or it used to be like, oh, because that's one thing I've said to people in the band and outside of band too. So don't don't film like this anymore. You film vertically because that's what everything's TikTok and Instagram's like that now. Or it's just everything's constantly changing. It's like, but it's just being aware. But at the same time, if you're comfortable doing your style of music and being like, okay, I'm happy doing this, and what I'm doing is comfortable for me, that's fine. I think it's just, like I said, it comes down to the intent. Like, no, if you're trying to be like a Sleep Token or Bad Omens or thing, then you have to, let's push, I think not push more, but your competition's a lot more because you're considering like, your take, because it's more popular. It's like, it's just, it's hard to tell because things change. Like 1 minute where this band be the biggest band, like it's the flavor of the month or week. Everyone loves this style, and then it's gone next. At least with we're comfortable in our genre where it's like the genre stayed consistently. There's all different avenues of it, and it's constantly being refreshed and stuff. Being like, oh, there's a new band, it's bringing this element in, but it's never been a flavor of the week in black metal or extreme metal. There may be like a production or everyone's adding more keyboards or everyone's doing or down tuning or doing more ambient stuff, but it stays like, that's what I love about it. It's like it's consistent, but not because you have room to move in it. Whereas most modern metal bands, it's like, right, we have to have a breakdown, we have to have a synth part, we have to have clean vocals here, and that's like I said, they're working the algorithm of what's going on currently. Like bands like, I don't like Sleep Token, but the thing where it's like, okay, I always figured out their structure of songs. It's like, okay, all the Bastille, who's your vocals, clean stuff, and then all of a sudden, oh, we have to add an 8-string blast beat or chug guitar here. So we're still, people remind, oh, we're still metal, by the way. It's that thing where it's like, and then I DJ as well, so I listen to a lot of them stuff playing, so I can figure out going, oh, this is the current trend now. I can hear the trends and what people's going. Like back, like when I was doing it for a long time, so everyone like said metalcore, all the breakdowns, all the techno stuff, and then it's like, all people like Meshuggah and Periphery, so it's all chuggy gent stuff, and then it's like, oh, it's gone back to new metal now. So you can kind of see where the trends are. But if for like, see, for new bands, it's just all about, like I said, I think it's all about intent and what you're trying to do. If you're just trying to be a successful band, really just follow what's current. Because if you just want to be a successful band and play, just do whatever's mainstream. If you want to explore like artistic endeavors, been like you say, like black metal opens up, or extreme metal, you can do different things. You can have like, you can do this and do this, and not have to worry about, oh, this isn't popular, or this isn't. It's just like, I never was into like I would never, like, I'd read Crew Crying, but like, none of these bands appealed to me. Like some like bands I liked would appear in it, but I wouldn't be like, I'm never going to, my music or my band is never going to be appearing here. So I don't care what this band's doing. It's like, as long as I know that what we're doing or what I want to do is satisfy me creatively, that's fine. And then I'll go, and I'm not worried about selling out arenas. I'm not worried about, oh, I'm never going to play this venue. I'm like, who cares? It's just, you take it on the chin, because you want, like I always said, I want to do this style of music, then I've got to take the negatives and the positives from doing this style of music. I mean,
yeah, that's cool. It's actually just really about what you want, like what your ultimate goal is, and just being realistic about what's going to come from whatever genre you end up choosing in its long run. That's brilliant advice, actually. So we're going to be wrapping this up soon, and I just want to know, have you future plans, future releases, future songs coming up?
Yes, so we're
as well, actually.
Yeah, so we're working away on a couple of songs. We have like 4, maybe 5 songs done. We'll say done, but like vocals are done for it, and then we're just fine-tuning things, tweaking stuff, listening back. Okay, can we change this, change that? So we're working on some. We don't know what's going to be an EP or an album. We don't know yet. It's just we're working on these songs. We played a few of them live already, and they've gone down well. So we know, okay, we'll keep that on the track. And then we're on tour in September with a band called IGL Wept. He's got Aaron Stainthorpe from Mighty Iron Bride and Higher Parasite. He's doing spoken word stuff for them. And that's a 4-day one in the end of September. It's all on our socials, you'll find out. And then we're playing in October at Call the Crow Festival. It's like a black metal festival. And that's in North Yorkshire, I think. These are all on our socials, so we'll find out that. But at the moment, we're just writing, playing, and then at the same time just keeping our heads down and working. And just, that's what I said, it's like all we can do is just work at what we're doing, and then if new ideas pop up, we'll put it in there. And if we have gigs, we play gigs, and we just do our best every time, and that's all we can do as a band.
Exactly. And like, we're gonna actually play us out with Within the Night. I just want to know, just before we do, because it's just to play us out, if you've anything you want to add just about the song itself, for folks when they're about to listen to it, about its creation, again, any challenges within that song itself as well, because I just love the moodiness of this one too.
Oh yeah, so that was the first one we ripped as this new lineup. So it was, and then that took the longest because I hadn't done vocals in such a long time. So I had to get a comp back into doing those style of vocals. And even then, I'm like, listening back to that song, I'm like, I'm better now than I was then. I felt like it's like, but we wrote that because the way I describe when I'm writing like ideas for songs, I'll show bands, like, I want to sound a band like this. But at the same time, I go, I'll name Fulham's been like, oh, listen to this, watch this movie, and write a song to kind of fit that mood. And I go like Within the Night, it's like, oh, like Lost Boys, do kind of like a Lost Boys vibe, or do like this. These are the vibes. And then Within the Night, it was like I wanted a big kind of 80s kind of vibe to it too. And then that's a song where like live we get them clapping and stuff like that. And then
I love that.
It is that a bit more rock song. It's like it's and then for writing it too, that is one of the things that just spelled out. Once I heard the first thing, it's like, I got it. And then like I love, like I said, it's got that kind of goth element too, where it's kind of feels a Nephilim stuff in it. And it's stuff I love. dearly. So working on that was the first song we came back, and we were worried about, because it sounds so different to what we previously put out, but I was like, it's okay, it's still us. It's just us, like a slight different spice or flavor. And then because you have like people that's watching this back, you go like, because Within the Night will sound different to My Last Sunrise, and My Last Sunrise will sound different to Possessed, and then She Is Dead, but they all have a connective. So all this is this band. He can do like different little things, and so Within the Night, when you hear it, it is it's the more straight rock song. It's a toe tapper, and you don't have to like break your neck headbanging or moshing. It's just like a singing along song.
Yeah, it's a great song actually. And is there anything else you want to add or let anybody know about before we play it?
Just thanks for watching, and thanks for checking us out. If you do check us out, we're on socials everywhere and Spotify, and if you like us, thank you. I can say.
Oh, well, look, thank you so much for joining and hanging out with me and talking music. It's been awesome. And here it is, guys, Within the Night.